Good morning. I'm going to try and do a tarp configuration for you today that I have done before, but I've never actually shown the setup process because it was just too rough on the day. It's nice and calm today, but it's starting to rain. So we see how we go. I don't mind setting it up in the rain. I'll be dry in it, but the camera's not meant to be out in the wet. So I'll crack on. Let's see how we go. Now, I'm not sure in here if you'll even be able to see that, but just a simple ridge line strung across, and I'm going to stick a prusik knot or loop on the line, one at either end, and of course I use my boot laces because I find them the most practical. I'll do that next. I'm going to film all this in stages rather than just one long run, otherwise it'd be too long and a bit boring. Right, what I've got here is an ordinary 3x3 or 10 feet by 10 feet tarp. Got it sort of laid out in a diamond formation and thrown one corner over the middle. And what I want to attach to the ridge line using the prusik loops is halfway down each side. Obviously they all have different amount of attachment points and so on, but the majority of square tarps will have a halfway grommet, tab, loop, whatever. So I'll be attaching the halfway one there on my prusik loop, both ends, stretch it out tight, and in theory the slack here, the other half, I should be able to pin to the floor if I've got the line at the right height. 10 by 10, so from this point to where I'm tying is 5, from where I'm tying to the next corner is 5, or 1.5 meters, depending on which language you use. So 5 foot high shelter, but I need about a 6 foot high ridge line because of the sag and stretch. That's the theory. We'll see if I've got it right in a second. Nothing fancy. I'm literally just going to tie a bow. Oh, do you hear my bloody phone go bing? Or you get a message or whatever when you're filming something. Right, so that's that one. I'm not going to tighten it up yet until I've done the other end, otherwise it's all going to slide off. There we go, that's the top tensioned with the 2 prusiks and just the triangle flap hanging down the front. Right, I'll move around to the back and we'll do the next stage. Just 2 pegs for this bit. You can see how she's in a diamond formation. Again, I just want to go halfway down one side. Put the peg in there. Put them down tight. What we should end up with is a square. Right. we go. So there's the square, the little point. I'm just going to tuck it underneath. So that's the back done. Right, if we're all at the right height, get a couple more pegs. The corners there hanging down should just about be touching the floor. Sort of pull it forward a little bit to tension it against that back peg. Straight line there. Looks like I'm a little bit out on this one. Not that it's going to matter. I'll just clip one of my guy lines on the little peak bit sticking over the top. Taking him out to the front. There we go. One windproof and rainproof day shelter. As long as the rain's behind you, of course. No good blowing in this way. Although this does give you a fair bit of cover, unless it's, you know, proper horizontal rain. It works quite well. It's high enough that I could sit in here in one of the folding camping chairs, ideal for cooking in the daytime, that sort of thing. But because of setting it up in the diamond formation, going halfway down the sides each time, of course this 10 by 10 or 3 by 3 metre tarp is now 1.5 by 1.5, if that makes sense. It's 5 feet high, probably a little over 5 feet wide because it's been stretched out. So it's not quite big enough to sleep in, unless you was in a bivvy, I suppose, because you could get your head in one corner and your feet sort of diagonal to the other corner, and it wouldn't be too bad. But it'd be slightly restrictive unless you're small. So what I'm going to do is lower the ridgeline, and in theory should give me a bit more slack, and I can move these corners out at that angle. So I won't have as much headroom, but have more width, which will make more sense for an overnight. Well, that's the plan. There we go. Makes a big difference. I've come down on the ridgeline, let's have a think. We were at about 6 feet, because it was sort of, you know, here. I've come down to about shoulder high on me, so I've only come down about a foot on each tree. Move back pegs back just slightly. Peg the sides out open now, because now of course it's lower, or they won't go straight down, they'll be flappy. So just move them out until the tension was there. As you can see, massive width. This has got to be 10 feet easy. God, could you hear that? I don't know whether the camera picked it up. About 2 fields away in that valley, there's a scrapyard, and it sounds like they've just started working. Sorry. Yeah, about 10 or 12 feet now, right across there. I suppose I could lay down to give you an idea. It's wet and horrible. The things I do for videos. I'm not worried about my top half because I've got my Gore-Tex jacket on. I've only got my ordinary trousers. But that'll give you an idea. I'm 6 feet tall. Loads of room. The only other thing I've done at the back is, because of how it's open now, it was a bit saggy on the roof at the back. So I've stuck another guy line on. I'll take you around there and show you when I get up out of this mud. There, that shows you how much wider it is at the back. That's where it had gone sort of saggy. It's now a big expanse. So I've just put a guy line onto that centre loop there, down to the floor. Just pulled the back out a little bit. Doesn't look like it makes much difference when you do it here. It makes a big difference inside. Good shelter. And that's it from about 50 feet away. It's not an ideal camouflage for current conditions in this woodland. It's a little bit open. I'd be tempted to put it somewhere where there's a little bit more cover. Even in winter time, you know, holly and things like that, ivy. Still got a nice bit of greenery, you can hide up easier. But of course I'm filming it, so I needed it in the open. There we go. That's my day box shelter that converts quite easily in about, I don't know, 5 minutes into a decent size overnight shelter. I hope someone finds that useful, and I apologise for the noise from the bloody scrapyard. Typical, isn't it? I'll see you on the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.